In this video, we're doing bongo technique and grooves. Coming up. Hi, I'm Kevin Zahner and welcome to Rhythm Notes. If this is your first time on the channel, please subscribe so we can help you level up your drumming and home recording today. And before we get started, what's your experience with bongo? Tell us in the comments below. We'd like to know who's watching this and what you have to offer. And perhaps if you have any questions, that's also a good place to ask them. Bongos, or bongo, is a two-drum instrument with a small and a larger drum. The larger drum is called hembra, and the smaller drum is called macho. It comes from the early Cuban son ensembles and some of the precursors to the son development. Today you'll see bongo in popular settings, certainly salsa, Latin jazz, and even poetry readings for an improvisational accompaniment to spoken word. If you want more information about bongo, the drums, its history, go to rhythmnotes.net where you'll find an article all about bongo, including some of the things we're going to talk about in this video. When it comes to striking the drums, you're going to play with the pads of your fingers and either strike with the first knuckle or the first and second knuckle. Depending on which ones you use, you'll get a higher or lower pitch from the drum. Now, you can use a full hand, do a full slap like on congas, but it's just not as common, and it's definitely more of a more impactful accent than you often need playing some of the grooves on bongo. We're going to focus on three grooves, and the first one is called Martillo. Martillo is the traditional pattern for bongo. Martillo means hammer, and for this groove, you're going to hammer with your right or left hand, depending on if you're righty or lefty, and that dominant hand is going to play mostly downbeats. Filling in, you'll actually play with your thumb and your two middle fingers, so your ring finger and your middle finger. And that'll be kind of like your toe, and this will be kind of like your heel, if you are familiar with conga techniques. For the first stroke on Martillo, you're going to actually plant your thumb horizontally across the middle, just above the middle of the head, so that when you strike with your right hand and your first knuckle, you'll get a muted tone because your thumb is across the drum, canceling out the resonance of the head. Right after that strike, you're going to have a toe stroke. The second stroke with your right hand is going to be two knuckles. So it's going to be a little bit of a different tone. And you'll play, after that, the heel stroke again. And then another single knuckle stroke with your right hand, or the hammer. The hembra is played on beat 4, and like I said, all the upbeats are switching between your heel and toe. If you're playing bongo in Latin jazz or salsa setting, you'll play highly improvised variations of Martillo around a specific accent pattern that's kind of a carryover from the folkloric traditions in Afro-Cuban music. This accent pattern is a two-measure phrase, just like clave, and it has an accent on the end of 4, the first bar, and then an end of 3 of the second bar. Let's check it out. may have noticed that some of those fills fit into a certain place. The thing about Latin jazz or salsa is you really need to practice and play it a lot with other people. Playing it by yourself is not going to cut it. You also have to listen and listen and listen to this music and figure out where clave is, where the folkloric conversations are happening, and also understand the other parts, whether it be timbales or the montuna on the piano. Perhaps the horn lines usually phrase in a certain way, and certainly the vocals, because all these patterns are happening, all these rhythmic layers are happening at once. To speak as a bongocero, you want to know where to play and where not to play, how to phrase and how to support the song, and how to kind of lay back and make room for the other parts, whether it be the melody or just establishing the stylistic rhythms that are always happening. And the third groove I want to talk about is a funk groove. Now, this is also highly improvised, but there is quite a bit of a pattern there to it. Now, when I approach funk grooves, I often want to think like upbeats, but I also want to think of a conversation where there's a high and low interaction that works for the song. You want it to be fun, you kind of want it to bounce a little bit, you want people to hear it and go, I want to move left and right, I want to move up and down, I want to move all around the dance floor. And if you're a good drummer, you're going to make people do that. It's nothing better than seeing people dance from a musician standpoint, from a true performer and artist standpoint, to make someone move, to make someone happy, to bring people together with the way you play. It's really one of the big reasons why I do this channel, because I want people to be entertained and I want people to feel the passion that I have for making music and making the world a better place. Also, pay attention to the different fills and where I put them. Just like with the salsa and Latin jazz settings, you have to really be careful where you play those fills, because if they line up too much with the drum set or too much with other instruments, it can get really cluttery. It can get really cluttered and make a mess and just really make noise that we're not looking for. So think about where your voice can be, and seriously, it does not take much. Less is more with bongo, especially when it comes to fills and especially when it comes to accents and these funk grooves. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you have any questions, hit us up in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed, please do so you don't miss any future videos, and thanks for watching. Bye.